where we uncover the darkest secrets of history. Today, we're diving into one of the most sinister periods of all time, the Spanish Inquisition. The Inquisitors were infamous for their brutal methods of punishment, using torture and pain to extract confessions and punish those who defied the Church. From the deadly wheel to the excruciating strappardo, the Spanish Inquisition was a time of unspeakable horror. So, buckle up and get ready to uncover the truth behind the evilest punishment methods of the Spanish Inquisition. Burning at the stake. The Spanish Inquisition was established in the late 15th century to investigate and punish those suspected of heresy and other religious crimes. The Inquisitors had broad powers to arrest, imprison, and torture suspects, and the penalties for heresy could be severe, including death by burning at the stake. The process of burning at the stake was deliberately designed to be a slow and painful death. The accused was tied to a stake and surrounded by piles of wood or other flammable materials. Once the fire was lit, the flames would gradually engulf the victim, causing excruciating pain and suffering. The use of burning at the stake as a form of punishment was intended not only to punish the individual, but also to send a message to others. The fear of being burned alive was a powerful deterrent, and many people would confess to crimes they had not committed simply to avoid punishment. Over time, burning at the stake became associated with religious persecution, and it was often used to target individuals who were perceived as threats to the established order. During the Spanish Inquisition, many people were burned at the stake simply for holding beliefs that were deemed heretical by the Church. Despite its gruesome reputation, burning at the stake continued to be used as a form of punishment in various parts of the world well into the modern era. It was only in the 19th century that many countries began to abolish the practice, recognizing it as a barbaric and inhumane form of punishment. Today, burning at the stake is universally condemned, and it's considered a violation of basic human rights. However, the legacy of this brutal form of punishment still lingers, a reminder of the dangers of intolerance and extremism. The rack. The rack was a torture device used during the Spanish Inquisition to extract confessions from the accused. It was a wooden frame with a roller at one end and a crank at the other. The accused would be tied to the frame and stretched until their joints dislocated or tore from their body. This punishment was extremely painful and was often used to extract confessions or information from the accused. The origin of the rack is uncertain, but it's been used in various cultures throughout history. It was particularly popular in medieval Europe and was used during the Spanish Inquisition by inquisitors and other officials. The punishment was often carried out by executioners who were employed by the Church and the Spanish monarchy. The use of the rack continued until the end of the 18th century, when it was officially abolished in many countries. The Spanish government abolished the use of torture and other forms of cruel punishment in 1812, marking the end of the Inquisition in Spain. However, the legacy of the rack and other torture devices lives on as a reminder of the brutal methods used during the Spanish Inquisition. The strappardo. What do you get when you tie someone's hands behind their back and then lift them into the air by their wrists? A torture method known as the strappardo was used during the Spanish Inquisition to extract confessions from the accused. This brutal punishment involved dropping the accused, causing their arms to dislocate or break. It was often used to force confessions from those accused of heresy or apostasy. The strappardo's origin is uncertain, but during the Spanish Inquisition, inquisitors and other officials employed this method to extract information from the accused. The punishment was carried out by executioners who were employed by the Church and the Spanish monarchy. Thankfully, the use of the strappardo and other torture methods ended in the late 18th century, as many countries abolished the practice. Spain followed suit in 1812, when the government abolished the use of torture and other forms of cruel punishment, marking the end of the Inquisition in Spain. However, the brutal legacy of the strappardo and other torture methods continues to serve as a chilling reminder of the atrocities committed during the Spanish Inquisition. The Judas cradle. Are you prepared for a discipline that will hurt and make you feel bad? Enter the Judas cradle, a tool used to torture people suspected of immorality or sexual deviance during the Spanish Inquisition. The accused's anus or vagina was intended to receive this pyramid-shaped instrument with a pointed tip. The accused would be made to sit on it, and as a result of the weight of their own body, the device would pierce their skin and cause severe agony and harm. The Judas cradle's origin is unclear, but it was frequently employed to coerce confessions from suspects during the Spanish Inquisition. The Church and the Spanish monarchy hired inquisitors and other officials to administer the punishment. Fortunately, these forms of torture came to a stop in the late 18th century, as the practice was outlawed in many nations. When the government outlawed the use of torture and other harsh punishments in 1812, Spain followed suit, bringing an end to the Inquisition there. The hair shirt. The hair shirt was a piece of clothing made of animal hair. It would typically have a neck opening and sit on the shoulders, with the sides tied under the arms. There were several varieties. It was also known as a cilice or sackcloth. The plan was to wear something that would irritate the skin. Hair shirts were used as a form of repentance by Catholics in the early days of Christianity during Lent, the 40 days preceding Easter. Other things, such as twigs, rocks, or metal, were used to aggravate the skin's sensitivity. The hair shirt was employed after a voluntary or post-torture confession during the Spanish Inquisition. If someone was accused of heresy, they might either confess or wait for the Inquisition tribunal to charge them. The hair shirt was mostly worn by viceroys in the New World. The wheel. The wheel was a cruel punishment applied during the Spanish Inquisition. The accused would be hammered or barbed with iron bars after being bound to a substantial wooden wheel. Due to their broken extremities, the accused would be forced to sit on the wheel until they died after being tortured. The wheel has its roots in ancient Greece, but it gained popularity in the Middle Ages and during the Spanish Inquisition. Those suspected of heinous offenses like murder or heresy were to receive the punishment. The Church and the Spanish monarchy hired inquisitors as well as other officials to carry out the punishment. As a warning to others who might be contemplating similar actions, the torture was performed in public. The use of the wheel and other forms of torture, however, steadily declined over time. Many nations had prohibited the use of torture by the end of the 18th century. The Spanish Inquisition came to an end when torture was prohibited. That's all for today's deep dive into the Spanish Inquisition's most evil punishment methods. We hope you found this video informative and insightful. Remember, it's important to learn from history so that we can prevent such atrocities from happening in the future. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel for more thought-provoking content. And as always, thank you for watching.